Hi, I'm here with Jared Fisher today, who's running for the governor for the state of Nevada, and he's also a local business owner that owns the Las Vegas Cyclery, which is right across the street from us. I bought 2 bikes from him in the past, and the building itself is actually, what, a net zero LEED certified
Yeah, net
building?
zero LEED Platinum.
LEED Platinum. Awesome. Well,
All right.
thanks for stopping by, bud.
Yes, thank you.
I thought it'd be fun to just kind of have you in and just kind of get a little idea of your platform and what you've got in mind and what even inspired you to run for governor.
Okay, well, the platform is education and economy and energy.
Got it.
And I feel that those 3 items are basically where our state needs to be if we're going to progress in everything.
Okay, let's start with education then. So we're what? People jokingly joke.
We're at the bottom of the list,
yeah.
And we've been at the bottom of the list pretty much since I was born. And also our state financing plan is 50 years old too. So what I'm proposing is that we just take it all down and we just start from scratch, use the best parts of the Nevada plan, and we turn those into a new plan. And we develop. Sometimes you have to tear things down to build things up to make them right. And so we've gone nowhere for years and years. So
to me, I always feel like there's all these sort of tax increases that sort of use education as sort of the billboard. But yet, I feel like the education doesn't get the money. So it's kind of like, oh, well, this is for education, and this is for education, and you like want to vote for it. But you're like, well, wait a minute, like,
where's the money going?
Yeah.
If it's not ending up in the education fund. Yeah, and that ties back to the Nevada plan. But we make just under $9,000 per student is what we're putting into each student in Nevada. But the national average is around $12,000.
Okay.
So we're not there. And we need to be there if we're going to compete with other states, and we're going to get out of this slump that we've been in forever. So it's a good point.
And something just even from a a Las Vegas business point of view is, I've got, I focus on residential real estate, but obviously I have a lot of friends that do commercial and both local and nationwide. And one of the things I've always kind of hear them say is that can be difficult to attract other businesses here, trying to diversify from the gaming economy because of sort of our lack of a talented sort of work pool. I mean, there's so much of the golden handcuffs of the, service industry here. I mean, you can make a lot of money parking cars, waiting tables, serving champagne, poolside, playing blackjack. I mean, all that stuff, which is great. I appreciate everyone's help, but it's kind of hard to say, hey, you're going to have to start at, X when you can just go be in the service industry and make twice as much. Some people make $100,000 a year serving steaks at Delmonico's.
Right. Well, what we really need to do is we need to attract these big companies. We need to. You don't basically have to give away the state. As far as incentives go, you just need a good negotiator to get the bigger companies to move here. And once we do that, we will start to develop our colleges and get the right pool of graduates coming in those areas that we need. So, but the problem right now is, like, for example, Tesla up north. I was talking to some of the people over there when I was up north recently, and they're having a hard time finding people to work at Tesla. And we're talking cutting edge lithium batteries for the future. I mean, this is an incredible company that needs talent, and they need it now. So we need to work on our higher education too to develop programs for our state that attract these young students. Like my kids, they're into this stuff. They want these opportunities. Not everybody does. Not everybody wants to go to college, and not everybody should go to college. Right. But we need to make sure that we have apprenticeship programs out there in our state. We need to make sure we're covering all the bases, because if we're going to diversify this economy, we're going to have the pool of people to work in all those different areas. So, I mean, that's a very important part. And I think as a state, we're still focusing a little bit much on tourism. Now, I'm in the tourism business too. I mean, I own bicycle stores, but I'm also a little bit into real estate too. I'm not in competition with you, but we built our own buildings and tourism. And within the state of Nevada, we tour all over the state and all over the southwestern United States. And tourism here, we rely on these casinos to bring in 30% of our income, or 25% of our state collected tax. That comes from these casinos, and that's just too much. We can't rely on that. When the economy dives, I mean, you saw it in 2008, what happened? Real estate just took a dive, and we were not diversified at that point. But I will say this, that we have made some good strides over the past decade to try and come out of that slump. We have brought bigger companies here, but we need to really push it. And that will lead to energy, which I said is one of my platform issues. We are the Saudi Arabia of renewable energy in this state. And if we're not taking advantage of that, we're wasting the best opportunity this state will ever have. And I've done 7 renewable energy projects. The last 2, I didn't even use incentives, and I'm making money off of it. The MGM just made a $40 million bet on renewables. And
right, because just to back up for a minute, because I saw that happened about a year ago, right? When they pulled out, they paid some pretty big fees to pull out of using NV Energy as their provider.
Right.
And so how does that work now? Where does their energy?
They're building their own power plant. Is what they're doing, and because the cost of renewable energy has dropped so much. When I first did my energy project, my first one, it was just a residential home. It was $50,000. Now to do that same residential home just 10 years later is $18,000.
Wow!
It now makes more sense to do renewable energy than it does to hook up to NV Energy, and what I want to do as a governor is to send that message out, because you don't have to be an environmentalist to take advantage of, hey, the bottom, it pencils on the bottom line. That's where we're at now. And every time the world renewable energy doubles, we drop 20% in the cost of renewables. So we're getting ready to do that again. China, Germany, India, they're all making these massive investments in renewable energy, but we're the Saudi Arabia of renewable energy in Nevada, and we're not taking advantage of it. I want to see Nevada take off. I want to see us take advantage of this. Right out of the gate, we can produce 90,000 construction jobs if we go full on in renewable energy for this state, and that's anywhere from big companies coming in and building plants, and they can do those with union workers. It doesn't have to be, necessarily private, and unions don't have to worry about it. They can get in on that pool of work, no problem. And then you've got residential too, like all these homes around the town. If you build those solar ready, just straight up solar ready, then people, we just had the Energy Choice Initiative on the ballot, and it's going to pass, and it's going to pass again. It's going to, the people are asking for it, they want it. And we can deliver. We just need to grab it by the horns right now and do it. So that's what I want to do as governor.
That's awesome. And willing to talk a little more about energy. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know one of the things that I think people may not know the whole story on for just residential is, so there was the original thing with Solar City where people could sort of sell their energy back,
it's called net metering.
To Nevada Power. It's sort of basically Nevada Power sort of stored their energy for them. They'd sell it to them, and then when they needed, they got it back.
Exactly.
But and I could see where that wasn't really fair for Nevada Power to have to sort of be the middleman and not make anything out of that. But the point being is, with these Tesla Power walls, when you can just store your own power at home, it doesn't matter. You just store what you.
You'll just store it and use it at night. Yeah,
and then
you're a power pack. And that technology is coming along very, very fast. And just a quick backup for just a second, a lot of people do worry, hey, I don't want these incentives to be for solar power customers, and I don't want to have to pay for them if I don't want solar. Well, the truth is, the net metering that's going on at NV Energy, every solar customer is paying NV Energy more money than the average customer, because we're paying to utilize the grid as solar customers. So we're not actually getting a dollar for dollar from NV Energy. And that's not necessarily a bad thing at all. In fact, that's a fair thing, because for example,
you're not saying it costs you more money overall. It's just sort of like
we're making our what I'm saying is, as a business or as a residential home, you are you're trading energy with NV Energy, but you're also paying NV Energy to utilize the grid, so that everybody else around the state doesn't have to burden your costs, is what I'm getting at. So it's gotten very fair, and and back to the battery packs, that technology is still coming. And we're going to see that on utility grid style at one point. And I was talking with Tesla, and I looked at some of their plans that they have coming up the pipe, and it's going to be really cool. We're getting there.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. When that happens, if like I say, if Nevada's not on it, we just lost the greatest opportunity ever. And
it's just such a good thing. I mean, there was one of those expose type shows that was talking about with these auto manufacturers, and it was talking about emissions. And first they were going to try and like have these humans, breathe the smoke of this exhaust. And it was literally, it was like a Netflix thing, and then they used like monkeys instead, and it was just outrageous. And you're just like, why have any of it? It's like,
well, you solved two things. At one point, you're giving people the opportunity to work. You're creating jobs in Nevada. And for those who are more worried about the emissions that dirty energy creates, well, you're solving that problem too.
Yeah.
You're helping for people who are concerned about climate change. You're solving that problem too. You solve so many problems with this. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, so that brings us right into your third pillar, environment.
Environment and energy are kind of into the same thing. But
Got it.
I'm a conservative Republican, but I'm a conservationist too. I grew up in the outdoors, and there's something to say about wide open spaces, out hunting and fishing and enjoying those natural resources that we have in our state. And we're a huge state, and we got a lot of land out there.
Yeah.
And what I think the next governor really needs to embrace is how to utilize that land to help our rural communities thrive and not necessarily be depressed anymore. And what you can do is you work with the BLM, you work with the Forest Service, you work with the state parks and the national parks around our state. And that's one of my areas of expertise, because I've done that for 25 years. Yeah. And working with them and building this relationship with the federal government, with the local communities, it can be a win-win for those local communities that have been looking for ways to boost their economy in their small towns. There's a lot of small towns out there. There's like Beatty, and we've got Alamo, and we've got Ely, and we've got Goldfield, and it goes up and around the state. I rode my bike around the state 3 times as part of my campaign.
Wow.
So I covered 2,500 miles, and I hit every town there was. No one stumped me yet.
That's so funny. Well, cool. Well, is there anything else, like anyone that's maybe on the fence about who to vote for, or they're not quite sure what they should, is there anything else initiative-wise or anything you want to share? No, I think that's for the most part. I mean, Heather and I, we're also the founders of Save Red Rock, which right out the back doors, we can see right out the windows here. We've got about 50,000 members as part of our organization. And that's basically to protect the natural resource that we have here, which is not just from a conservation viewpoint, but also from an economic viewpoint too, because in the state of Nevada, we've got 2 major destinations. That's Lake Tahoe and Red Rock Canyon. And those are 2 places that we really want to take care of for our state, because they're world renowned. They are.
And people come from all over the world to visit those areas, and what we don't want to do is compromise the integrity of those 2 particular places. Now there's many more, but those are the 2 drivers of our a lot of our economic value here. It's like these communities that we're in Summerlin, and Summerlin has positioned themselves right next to Red Rock. The last thing they want it to do is to go in there and not take care of that canyon. So
well, and they, something Summerlin did is they own land that went really into the mouth of Red Rock, and they swapped that out for land more in South Summerlin, which is why Summerlin goes a little further south now and not as far west as they could have, because they even were trying to draw the line.
And I think Summerlin's done a really good job. I mean, we have property here in Summerlin, commercial property, and I've spoken with Summerlin for years and years and years on our deals. And that's on the tip of their tongue is preserving the canyon and making sure it's there for everybody. And so they're doing a really good job with it.
Awesome. If people have any questions or want to either ask you questions or know more about what you're up to, how do they find out?
Yeah, for political reasons, you can go to fisherfornevada.com and shoot us some emails, check out our website, and business-wise, Escape Adventures Las Vegas Cyclery.
Awesome. And when are elections?
Elections, so we have the primary elections, which everybody needs to go and vote. It's June 12th.
June 12th, get out and vote for this guy, Jared Fisher. And cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Fantastic.
Awesome.